everyone. Is the audio clear? Okay. So we begin with now. If you see the agenda, which I already given you earlier, I had already posted that it was route redistribution, route filtering, route summarization, and then now I added further the next topic that will be control input security. That is basically your routing protocols, authentications, how to secure the your routing protocols communication. So that all comes under your control plane security. So let's start the session now. Okay, with the topic of route summarization. Okay, but before let me just okay, let's get the console for all the devices. Let me get back my diagram for route redistribution. So if you see, like yesterday, what we did, route filtering, route distribution, same diagram. So same diagram I'll be using again for what? Routing protocols authentication. Now just to explain the route redistribution and route filtering, we had basically I had R3 and R6 with RIP. Okay, basically now, but since RIP is not much, so instead of RIP, now what I'll show you a new diagram. Here it will be what? Here also will be EIGRP. Let's see what exactly do I have EIGRP basically or R6. Show IP route. Don't have anything. So no, okay, RIP is only there. Let it be now. So this is RIP domain, this is EIGRP domain, and this is OSPF domain. Okay. So yesterday we had done what? Route filtering using, I shown you how to do route filtering using distribute list also and route map also, and I explained you where you can use distribute list, where you cannot use distribute list, where you can use route map, where you cannot use route map. So let me show you one requirement. You see this requirement. See, it says RIP domain. See the requirement on the screen. RIP domain does not want this couple of routes. And what is the constraint given? The access list, the ACL which we create must contain only two statements. So this is a requirement. Sometimes you're told to do filtering, and sometimes they tell you how to do filtering in a particular way. So now you see RIP domain. Where is the RIP domain? If you see the diagram now, RIP domain basically means what? From R3 onwards, R3, R6, that is the RIP domain. I'm showing only one router, but you should consider there could be multiple routers also over here, right? There can be there can be routers over here also like this. There can be another router here. There could be another router here behind R6 also possible. Like that. So this is the RIP domain. So who is advertising the routes into RIP domain? R3. R3 is our what redistributing area router. From OSP point of view, R3 is what? ASBR. So this R3 is going injecting routes into RIP domain. So I need to go and check on R3. This to the requirement which is given to me. The requirement which is given to me will go and check now. Can you guys hear me? Is the audio clear still? Okay, because someone said no sound. I don't know how. So I go to where? R3 because R3 is the router wizard world. What are the two networks I have been told to filter? The two networks is what? 170.10.17.0 and this 45.0 or slash whatever subnet mask whatever. Let's see the actual routes now. So I go and put show IP route on the router. So where is 17? Over here 17.0. It's an OSPF route. Okay, and which is the other one 45.0. Over here it is actually /28. Okay, so 45.0 /28 and 7 both are basically OSPF routes. So what is the requirement? We have been told that these two routes which are going into RIP domain from OSPF to RIP domain, these routes are going. That means redistribution through it should not be sent. They should be filtered. They should be filtered. Okay. So if this route should be filtered, that means we have to do route filtering over here. So all the route from OSPF domain who is sending redistributing route. So when it is a scenario of redistributing route filtering, which is our tool route map. And now they say your access list must contain only what two statement, but requirement is what two statement. I have to filter two routes and I need to create what an access list to filter this two route with only two statements. So how do I do that? So I go to R3. Please switch off, guys. Everybody, please switch off your videos. Thank you. So I go to R3, go to config mode. Normally, if I want to deny these two routes, how I'll create the access list? Let's say I create some access list number 33. I'll say deny. So if you see, if I say deny 170.10.17.0, it is /24, so 255. Then I create what another statement 33 deny 170.10.45.0 0.0.15 so for /28. And then what I need to do now, since I have created an access list with deny statement, then I need to have what a third statement permit any, right? So if I do this, it becomes what three statement access list. This is not according to the requirement of the task. The task says what your access list must contain only two statements. So if I do the filtering using this access list, what I'll get 0. This solution is not acceptable. They said no, whatever access list I created should have. So if I don't put this third statement, then what will happen? Then everything will get denied. What to do now? So the requirement will be what? if they say you need to do only with this two routes, you require two statements because they cannot be clubbed together. They are two random IPs. They are not in a range. Okay. Since they are not in a range, I cannot club them in one single statement. So basically what I do, I remove this access list. This is not the normal access list I can use. I create what? An access list with what? Permit statements. So the routes which I want to permit, the routes which I want to deny, whatever the requirement is given, I permit them now. So if you see, if I do permit 170.10.17.0 255, if I do now do show access list, see access list is with only two statement now. But what about the implicit deny? Yes, implicit deny is there, but that is not an statement. It is we assume it is there. It's an implied thing. It's not existing there. So this is the access list which you need to create, because I cannot go any one statement beyond this. The moment I'll make one more statement, what will happen? It violates the requirement. So always whenever some requirement is given, you need to follow the requirement. Your solution must match the requirement. They are expecting a particular solution. Sometimes they will simply say do route filtering. If they say route filtering finish, you can do whatever way you like. But if they ask you to do in a specific way, then that is the only solution acceptable. So now access list is done. Then what we do? We create a route map. So I say route map to what? Let's say this time it is RIP. And now what I want these two routes to be done. These routes I want them to be what? Actually denied. Access list is doing what? Access list is permitting them. But route map, if you remember, I told yesterday that route map has what? Special powers. It has its own powers of denying and permitting. So over here I'll put now this time what? Deny. And I can put sequence number, any sequence number, 10, 20, or maybe even 100 also. So route map to RIP deny 100, and I match this access list. Match IP address access list number 33. So now let us see what happens here now. Okay. Any access list, any time you create any access list, you will always have what? Inside the access list, there will be always what? Two types of statement. Any access list anybody creates in the world will always have two types of statement in any access list. What are these? There will be permit and deny. You can't have an access list with only permit statements. You can't have access list with only deny statements. Of course, yes, if somebody wants, you can create an access list with only deny statements. Like this over here. See here now. If I create like this access list 30, I say deny this and deny this. But I don't do this command. The next command, the permit any command, I don't do. Okay. If I do only deny, what I created, an access list I created with only deny. Why? Because implicit deny is also there in the end. But if you see now, if I create like this access list with permit statements, there is still implicit deny below, which is not visible. So, if anybody creates any access list with permit statement, there will be always implicit deny inside. But if you create any access list with only deny statements, then it is whole everything is denied, which is not possible, because if you want to do filtering, you want something to be filtered and you want something to be permitted. You can't have everything filtered. If you have everything filtered, then basically stop the routing only. So any access list will have what? Always permit and deny. Whether the deny will be on top, it could be like this also. Doesn't matter, Deny can be on top or permit can be below, doesn't matter. Sequence doesn't matter. Okay, and now you have what? The route map. Now you have the route map. Route map also has what? Permit and deny. So now let me show you. Let's say route map has a sequence number. Over here, let's say given what? Name of the route map, let me keep it as what? XYZ, let's say XYZ or 2 RIP, whatever is the name. So this route map, I have created what? Deny statement. And inside, under this sequence number 100, what I am putting? My access list. Let's say the access list number over here is 33. So I put here access list number 33. So now what is the relation? Any access list, whatever you create for route filtering and you put inside that sequence number, that means it becomes part of this sequence number. So it belongs to this sequence number. So now whatever access list permit, whatever access list will permit, okay, let's say whatever access list is permitting, so it will come where? On this sequence number. It will come to route map sequence number 100. Why? Because 33 is part of this access list. And now suppose what I put here. If I put here deny in the route map sequence number, first sequence I put deny, what happens? All these routes get denied. And that is what I did exactly here. You see, I created route map deny 100 and I did access list. So access list, whatever access list is going to permit, they always come to the sequence number where the access list is placed. Same, whether you put permit in below or you put permit in the beginning, doesn't matter. This permits will always, only permitted route comes to the sequence number which contains your access list. What about the denied routes? Denied routes go where? To next sequence number. So denied routes will go where? Next sequence number. Like that. Whether it is in the end deny, implicit deny, or whether you have clearly specified some denied routes. So whether it is always denied routes cannot come to same sequence number, because you have two types of statements. So one type of statement will come to sequence number 100, and which is that permit statement. And the other type of statement in the access list are what? Denied statements. Denied statements will come to what? Next sequence number. Now you tell me, is there any next sequence number? No, I did not create any next sequence number, but still in the route map also, as I told you yesterday, route map also has what? Implicit denial. So what happens to the remaining routes? Remaining routes, what will happen? They will all get denied. What was your requirement? Requirement was only 2 routes should be denied. Only these 2 routes should be denied, and your access list must contain 2 statements. So I created the access list with these 2 statements, and now they are getting denied. With this configuration, so far what I have done will deny those 2 routes. But what about the remaining route? Remaining route should be permitted, but now even they will also get denied. That's the reason you should remember that route map is similar to access list. That means if you create an access list with deny statement, we always put in the end what? Permit statement. And that's the reason over here also what I need to do, I need to go and I need to create what? A second sequence number with 200. Whatever. If I start 1020, you can go with 10, 20, 30. If I start with 100, I can go with 100, 200. So that doesn't matter. Sequence number can be any number. If I don't put this permit 200, what will happen? All the remaining routes also will get denied. And now let's see now. Before we do the filtering, let's go to R6. Let's see the routing table of R6. Is R6 having those routes? Right now R6 is having 17 and 45. Where is 45? Over here. So the 2 routes are visible on R6, because right now what I have done. Right now what we did, I just created an access list and route map. Access list and route map doesn't work unless and until they are applied. So where do I apply? Do show run inside the routing. These are OSPF routes getting redistributed into what? read domain. So I need to go inside what? Over here. Get back the redistribute command, and in the end what I put now, my route map, and name of my route map is case sensitive, so be careful, either copy paste, and while copying also you should be careful, apply the route map. And once you apply, since this is RIP protocol, not does not refresh immediately, so best thing is what, do clear IP route star. So refresh couple of times. And now let's see on R6. And there you see route filtering has taken place. 17 and 45, those two subnets are gone. Everything else is there. So we satisfied the requirement as per the constraint given. The task is complete as per the requirement. My access list contains only two statements. If, if you solve this same task by some other solution, will not be accepted. Why? Because they give you a constraint. In this constraint, they were expecting what? Your access list cannot have any two statements, more than two statements. If they don't give any consent, then I could have done with the access list deny statement. So whatever way you remember. Very simple, relationship between access list and route map you should remember. If you create access list with permit and deny, any access list you create permit and deny, then route map will begin with deny and end with in permit. If you create access list with deny and permit, then route map will have only permit statement. That's it, one permit statement, because there is implicit deny. Like this, if you have access list with permit and deny like this combination, then your route map will be deny and permit combination. Opposite. If you create an access list with like this, deny and permit combination, then your route map will be permit, and it will be what? Implicit deny. This combination. Access list deny permit, route map will start with permit. Access list with permit deny, route map will start with deny. Okay, so now finally we are done with route redistribution. Let's go further. So the next topic as per the agenda is what? Route summarization. The next topic what we have is what? Route summarization. Okay. So what do you mean by summarization? Summarization basically means what? See, first thing is what we do. We have what? Subnetting. In subnetting, what we create? We take one network and generate more networks from that network. So we take one network and we create what? Small networks from that network. That is called as what? Subnetting. And then we use these subnets like the diagram. If you see my diagram, everywhere I use what? Subnet of 170.10.00/16. This is my network 170.10. I selected one network, this organization, let's say ABC, they selected this organization. Then on one link they use 45.0 subnet, 35.0 subnet, 123.0 subnet, like that they use this. So what happens, and now once you do the routing, what is happening? The size of the routing table, if you see already R3, so many subnets visible. So what will happen with subnetting? With subnetting you are able to set up your networks. Why? Because if we don't do subnetting, then we will never have this internet so big. Because networks are how many networks? Hardly 2 million networks. Out of 4,300 million IPs, you have only 2 million IPs for network. Remaining all were host. Lot of wastage. So that's the reason people created subnetting so that you can have more, you know. And even after subnetting also, do you know how many subnets, maximum subnets, if we are done maximum subnets, how many more networks we would have created from 2 million? How much more we can go? We could have gone only up to maybe let's say 1 billion. It is always less than 1 billion. You cannot have more than 1 billion subnets maximum. But then that is also not possible. So maybe maximum subnetting on the internet would have been what? Maybe less than 500 million. But what is the size of the routing table? Do you anybody has an idea what is the size of the routing table as of today? The size of the routing table as of today is how much? What? How many routes in the routing table? It is somewhere around 800,000. Somewhere around 800,000. Just think, not even 1 million. Which subnetting, how many networks, how many routes we have altogether? Around 500 million, let's say. But as of now, as of today, on the internet, we have how much? Maybe only around, like let's say 1 million. Right now we have only 1 million. How this is possible? This is possible because of what? Route summarization. So basically summarization is like what? Opposite of subnetting. In subnetting you take one and make 10 piece. In summarization you take 10 and make one. So it's like joining process. You club together subnets and create one route. So how to do subnetting? To do subnetting, if I go to now R8 now, if you see on R8 also, show IP route, if you see, so many subnets are coming like that. So many subnets are coming from all this thing. So how to do that? Let me take one example. Let me show you something. So here we have, you know, let's say I give you a task that okay, these are the subnets. I give you some subnets and I ask you, okay, you have to do what? Summarization. Okay, so this you get like this requirement in your lab also. Summarization will be always there. So you know bunch of subnets are given to you, bunch of routes are given to you, and now you have been told, okay, now do summarization for this, summarize this. So what we see, the first octet in all these IPs is what? First two octet is common. So basically my summary also will have what? The first two octet common. And if I see what? The third octet. Now you start from left and go towards right. So this is common, this is common. But now in the third octet, it's not common. The third octet is what? Varying. It's changing. That means I need to summarize this. This is called as what? Summarization. So how do we summarize? We convert all these values into what? Binary. But just think now. Suppose there are like this. I have shown you only maybe over here 8 numbers. But suppose if there are, you know, maybe there are 15 numbers, and then if you start doing binary of all these 15 numbers, it will take a lot of time, right? So sometimes sometimes many people, when we do binary, if we do binary, there could be what we can go wrong also while creating the binary, and creating binary of 15 numbers will be time consuming, and it will be what there could be administrative mistakes. So do we have a shortcut? Yes, we have a shortcut. Whatever they give you, this range of IP addresses which needs to be summarized, what you do? Just browse and see the smallest and identify the smallest and the biggest number in this range. Whatever range is given, identify the smallest and the biggest. So if you see here, I have identified 15 is the smallest and 79 is the biggest number over here, right? And now you have to convert what? Binary of only these two numbers. So just this is the shortcut. If you want to summarize the range of IP address, just identify of that range smallest and the biggest number. And now do binary. This binary you have to be careful. So 15 binary, 8 plus like that. Okay, I have written. Now how to calculate the summary? Again, start from left, go towards right. So now see 15 binary. What is the first value? 0. What is 79 value? 0. So what do you do? Just write it over here. Let me just put here. Okay. If it is both the numbers binary same, write the value same. Now next, move next column. Is it same? No. One is having 0, one is having 15. The moment you come across a column, you see you start from here like this, right? You start from left to right. First column common, you put 0. But the next column, immediately next column, what you found, it is not 0. Stop. It's not same. It's not equal. Just like just an imaginary line you draw, and now you don't bother about anything further. Stop doing anything. Just simply write all the remaining values as what? Zeros. That's it. And now what you got? This side 0 and this side 0. So if all the 8 values are 0, what is our decimal? 0. And that is what is our summary here. Fourth octet was 0 only. Only this octet was varying. Now you don't need to go to further. As I said, now, the moment here also left to right, the moment you come across with something not equal, stop. Same way here also. I started from here left. I wrote this is common. Okay, I 172. 16 common. Once I put 16 here. Then in the third octet, now I started looking for common bits. I found what? Only first column. Only one bit is common. Remaining seven are not. This remaining all the seven are not common. There are some common, but I don't do that. I don't go beyond. The moment I come across the next immediate column which is not common, stop. And then what you do? Just put all the 7 values as what? 0. If there are 7 bits, 7. Okay. I will show you 2 examples so it will become more clear. Now what happens? IP address without subnet mask is what? Useless. So I need to also calculate what? Subnet mask. What is the meaning of subnet mask? Subnet mask tells you how many bits belong for the network portion and how many bits for the host portion. Bits which will not change, which will be fixed. So if you see now all these IP addresses, they have what? 72, 172, 16. That means this is 8 bits already common. This 8 bit already common. And now in this third octet where we do this calculation, how many bits I got common? We got common only 1 bit. And that's the reason now subnet mask become what? In the third octet it is what? Common bit is what? 1. So 8 plus 1 plus 1, that is your subnet mask for this summary. The number of columns which are common, you add that number to the first 2 octet, that is 16. Suppose we get here two columns common, then we'll add what? 2. 8, 16 plus 2, 18, like that. See here another example. Let's take the second example. Okay. Again, I give what? Some range of IP addresses 200.191.93.0/24, 200.1, like that, blah blah blah. So all these IP addresses I'm giving you over here. And I've been given what? I've been told to do what? Summarize them. So what I do now? First I see what? This all these IPs, they already have what? First two call, so first two octet common. So my summary also will have what? First two octet common. My summary is also what? First two octet common. Okay. How to do summarization? Identify the smallest and the biggest number. The smallest is like say 193 and the biggest in this range is what? 219. So write those two numbers. As I said, convert their binary. Convert their binary. So 193 binary is what? 1100. Last is 193 is an odd number. It will end in odd number. 219 is also odd number. So that this last bit will be always on. So I calculated the binary for this. And now let's find out the summary. So again, as I said, start from where? Left to right. See now. First one. 1 common. Yes. So write down 1. Okay. Next column. 1 common. Yes. Write down. Third column. 0 common. Yes. Fourth column. 1 not common. Draw the boundary. And now remaining bits, you don't need to do anything. Just write the remaining bits as what? Zeros. And now this is the binary you got. This binary will be what? 192, because first bit is 128. First day we already discussed this. Second bit is what? 64. 192, 128 plus 60. 128 plus 64, how much? 192. So this is the binary. This is what will be your summary. So over here, what is my summary? 200.192.192.0. And now I need to calculate what? The subnet mask. Why? How do I calculate the subnet mask? Already first two octet in the summary, first two octet are already common. That means 8 plus 8, 16 is already common. And now this 3 bits now. How many bits we found here common in the third octet? 3 bits. So what will be this is already class C. So what will be the subnet mask now? It will be what? 8 plus 8 plus 3. 19. So this is your summary. 200 dot 1.192.0/19. Clear how to do? So if you get one column common, okay, one column, remaining all zeros. If you get two column common, okay, remaining column zeros. If you get 4 column commons, so right, just move from left to right and just write down the columns common, and then not common, just draw one line. You need to do practice. I've shown you 2 examples how to do summarization. If some of you already know how to do summarization by some other method and you find that method is good for you, stick to it. No hard and fast rule that you should do this way or do that way. The main goal should be what? Whether you calculate the summary this way, what I shown you, or you calculate it someone. Our answers must tally. If my answer is different and your answer is different, that means it is something is wrong. Either I am wrong or you are wrong. We are going wrong somewhere. because no matter how you do the summarization, end result has to come same for a particular range of IP addresses. If I say these are the IP addresses, summarize, I have to summarize, then this will be the summary only. You can't have another summary for this range. For some other range, some other summary. So it is always this, the value which we calculate, the summary, whatever we calculate, it is always related to particular block of IPs or range of IPs. Clear, guys? What we call this over here in the first case, what we call this, the value which we calculated, the value which we calculated 172 16 not like this, whatever I calculated here, what we call this, we call this as what, summary address, correct? This is called as what, summary address. 172.16.00/17 what I calculated here is basically what, summary address. And what we calculate here will be called as what, the second example, 200.1.192.0/19, what will call it as? What will be 200.192.0 will be called now? Summary. In the first example, I said the answer, I say I call it as what, summary. In the second example, I am asking again you, the answer what we calculated, what will it be? Will it be some? Will we call it summary? No, we call it as what? Supernetting. It is a supernet 200.1.192.0/19. So technically, basically, it's what, a supernet. We call it as what, supernet. Why? Why in first example we call it summary? Why in the second example we call it now supernet? Because if you see, the method is identical. Both we did the same way. Then why different terms? Why this is called as summary address and why this is called as supernet? Just go through the range of IP address which we summarize. In the first example, what you summarized? In the first example, we summarize what, subnets. This is class B. This is class B, right? This is class B. And what you see here, I already told you first day. Anytime how to differentiate between network and subnet. If the check the class and see the subnet mask. If it is not default, that means it is subnet. So in the first example, I was summarizing what, subnets. So when you summarize subnets, that is called as what, summarization. And in the second example, if you see, this is what, class C. And what is the subnet over here? It is default. That means in the second examples, we were summarizing networks, not subnets. And this is what happens in on the internet. This is what happens in BGP. You are summarizing what, networks, not subnets. So this is called as what, supernetting. Clear, guys? So now, once we know how to calculate the summary, you have to keep on practicing. Okay, because you can't do every time like this, write in binary, then draw left, right, all these things. You can't do all this circles. Sorry, you have to go through, the video will be there. You can browse, you can go through the recording maybe 10 times to understand. Because time does not permit this. I have two examples I explained now. So you need to go through the video recording. If you don't, if for somebody it is not clear, even after seeing it twice, maybe he requires third time, fourth time, then that is where we are uploading the recordings. Because I can understand everybody cannot understand everything at one time or two times. For some people it will take little more time. No problem. That's the reason you have recording. It will be there on the YouTube. you need to put in little more extra effort. But keep practicing every day. You should take some example, write down some IP addresses, and do subnetting. And what will happen within a week? This will be like, like a piece of cake. Then only if you do the immediate hard work. If you say yes, okay, you will watch the video and then it is okay. No, after 1 month you'll all forget. The best thing is what? Do take piece of paper and write down and do some examples yourself. Now let us see how to configure this summarization. Let us see how to configure this summarization. Okay. So coming back to our routers, in this diagram, same diagram what I was using. This is our diagram. If you see now on R8, I shown you on R8, all these subnets are coming. 172.16.10 dot, like that subnets are coming. This basically, if you see, they are all subnets of what? 170.10. So can all this be summarized? Yes, we can do summarization. Okay. So I've shown you. You can just write down these numbers also, and you can do all the summarization for all these IPs. Like that. Okay. Let us go. So who is sending all this route to R8 as per the diagram? R7. How R7 is sending this routes to R8? Via redistribution, right? So can R7 now summarize these routes? Do we have option here? Okay. If you see the show run now, how the routes are getting advertised in EIGRP because of this redistribute command. Correct? So can I go to, let us go to EIGRP. Do I have option here to do summarization? I don't have any option to do summarization here because only I have option for what? Route filtering. So if the routing protocol is EIGRP, where is the summarization command? So again, as I said again earlier also, RIP and EIGRP configuration similarly. If you know to configure RIP, EIGRP is easy. If you know to configure EIGRP, RIP is nothing like. So both configuration almost similar. Behavior is also almost similar. Only thing is that RIP is meant for a small network, whereas EIGRP for a big network plus fast convergence, all that stuff. So for RIP and EIGRP, the summarization command is not under the router process. The summarization command is where on the interface. So I need to identify the interface towards R8. So the interface towards R8 is what? Fast Ethernet 0/0. So you need to go to R7 interface Fast Ethernet, and then the command to do summarization is what? IP summary address. And now since you are on the interface, my router does not know which protocol you want to do. So if you put question mark C, there you have the option. You can do same command for EIGRP or RIP. So you select whichever protocol. So now we have what? EIGRP. But in EIGRP, basically which EIGRP? Because there can be multiple AS numbers. So your next option will be what? AS number. So what is your AS number over here? AS number is 100. So IP summary address EIGRP 100, and then your summary address. So now you see, you can specify your summary. Suppose let's say I calculated that summary, it is 170.10.0.0. Okay, and it is /16. Now again, if you see, I can clearly straight away put it as what? /16. So once I calculate, simply put /16. Finish. IP summary address EIGRP 100 172 6 1 sorry not 170.10.00/16. So anytime you have some change in the topology, some change in the config, EIGRP immediately detects the change, it resyncs. This is called as what? Graceful restart. The whole process does not get restarted. It's just like refreshing the topology table. Let us see now. Previously, so many subnets of 170, and now what do you see? You see the routing table has become compact after summarization. After route filtering also the routing table become what? Smaller, compact. Why people do route filtering? Why? Because you don't want unnecessary route. So once we filter unnecessary routes, the routing table become what? Smaller. Smaller, compact the routing table, faster will be the packet forwarding. Performance of your network improves. So same way summarization also. Before summarization, maybe the routing table is big. Maybe the routing table has 100 routes. But if you do summarization, maybe possibly your routing table has become maybe 50 routes, maybe 60 routes, like that, whatever, because it depends on how many IP address, how big range you are summarizing. Out of 100, if you are summarizing 80 routes, out of 100 routes in the routing table, you are summarizing 80 because they are in the range, they belong to the same network. So 80 routes you are summarized altogether. So your routing table after summarization will become what? 20 plus 1, 21 instead of 100. So summarization, that is, and because of this summarization in BGP, summarization is called as what? Aggregation. That's the reason on the internet we have not even 100, we have not even 1 million routes, because that is possible only after summarization. Altogether, class A, class B, class C, we had almost 2.1 million routes. So this 2.1 million routes they summarized, and now we have only around 800,000 routes, or maybe 1 million routes if it grows still further. Let us do summarization in now OSPF. Auto summarization does not give you the power. See, routing protocols also, some routing protocols also do auto summarization. The example of auto summarization protocols are what? RIP version 2, EIGRP and BGP. But that's the reason what happens. Nobody allows auto summarization. Why? Because auto summarization will not be specific. Auto summarization will summarize on the classful boundary. If it is class B, auto summarization, the summary will be always ending in what? /16. If it is class A, it will be always ending in what? /8. If it is class C, it will be always /24. But if you see, if we do manual summarization, then we can make only specific certain routes only we can summarize. So manual summarization is more precise, more better. That's the reason anytime we want to do manual summarization, first we detail the router. A router don't do auto summarization. If I want, I will do summarization on my own. That's the reason no auto summary command we do. And nowadays your iOS does the no auto summary command for for the admins. If the moment you'll configure BGP, automatically no auto summary it will do. The moment you'll configure EIGRP, automatically auto summarization gets disabled, because Cisco studied everybody is doing that. So they are telling making the iOS user friendly. So some features, you know people are always disabling. So now Cisco said, okay, iOS, the moment this protocol is enabled, disable this feature. And it's not visible also in the new iOS. In the new iOS, it's not visible also. if you see here router EIGRP 100, you don't see anywhere no auto summary that count. But when I configure this, I remember I always do no auto summary. So it is not visible. So if it is not visible, don't think that it's not happening like that. So it does not display now. OSPF does not do auto summarization on its own. Now let us take example of OSPF and then we'll move further. Let us go to for this I'll inject new routes. Okay, let us inject some new routes on R8. We'll create some loopbacks on R8 and we'll inject advertise those routes in EIGRP and then we'll do summarization of those routes. Okay. So quickly, I means like I want to create 10 loopbacks. I can't waste time in creating 10 loopbacks. So that's the reason you guys also see, observe carefully what I do. I can create one text file. I can keep one text file ready. So let me pick up these loopbacks. One, two, three, four. Copy. So like that, you can keep your loopbacks created. Of course, you see some IPv6 and all. You can ignore that because when I will teach IPv6 that time again I have to show you summarization. That time again I will use the same loopback. So I created for IPv4 as well as IPv6 this loopbacks together. Keep this down. And now what I do, I go to R8 150, and what I do, I add all these loopbacks. Now let us see how many loopbacks got created on R8, and you see now I have bunch of loopbacks which got created on R8. And if you see now what happens, what I find, they all have what 200.1 common. 200.1 common. Okay. So I think that summary which we calculated, I think it will be good enough to summarize them. So let us try this now. First thing is what I need to advertise all these loopbacks. So how I'll advertise all these loopbacks in one single command? How I can advertise all these loopbacks in one single command in EIGRP, because R8 is only having EIGRP, right? So router EIGRP 100, I can do what? If you remember, I say redistribute connected. Now if I go to R7, do show IP route EIGRP, let's see first the routes are coming. Yes, see all the routes got advertised to R7, and if you see now what is happening on R7, routing table see becoming big, so big. It's not coming on the screen to all together. So it has become so big. There were already subnets of 170, 10. Now you have what so many routes of one. You have subnets or networks of starting with 200, and this all what R7 will do, it will redistribute into OSPF. That means everybody means if I go to the other end R4, on R4 also everywhere the routing table now becomes big. So if I go to R4, there also we'll see 200 routes landed on R4 also. Size of the routing table has become bigger and bigger. So as we keep on adding routes, what will happen? size of the routing table will become big and big. So I read. Let us take a small break. Okay. Thanks for reminding me. So I've shared the configuration. Okay, I've shared the configuration file to all of you. This topology which I use, the IP addressing which I use. Download it, go through it. I will share the routing files also with you all of you guys. So now coming back to summarization, if you see on R8, I advertised a bunch of routes, and what happened? R7 was the redistributing router. It redistributed, and everybody is getting all the routing table is getting redistributed. So now, if you see the diagram now, all the routes, all this bunch of routes, they all come to 7, and then 7 redistribute via this also, 7 redistribute via this also. So who can summarize these routes now? R7, suppose R7 does not want this route, okay? So these OSPF routers, they don't want all this bunch of routes together. So who can do the summarization? So in OSPF, in EIRP, you can go to any router in EIRP and do the summarization. But in OSPF, it is not like that. In OSPF, you cannot do summarization wherever, whichever router you like. In OSPF summarization, you can do only on 2 routers. Summarization, we can do only on 2 routers. We can do summarization on ASBR, or we can do summarization on ABR. So it's not like if you know the command, but if you're doing the command on a wrong router, it won't happen only. So now, who is the ABR and who is the ASBR? To know all these things, we already know, you guys already know that R3 and R7 from OSP point of view, they are what? ASBRs. Doing that. Okay, so now these routes are coming from R8. So which router can do summarization? Only R7 can do this summarization. If I go to R1 and do the summarization command, it won't happen. Please remember. Okay, so now R7 is the summarizing router, R7 is the ASBR, R7 is the redistributing router. So we have to do summarization where? R7. So let us go to R7 now. In OS, in EIGRP in RIP, as I said, summarization command is where on the interface, but in OSPF, the summarization command is where inside OSPF process. So whether it is ASBR summarization, whether it is ABR summarization. ASBR summarization we do for what? To summarize what? Summarize external routes. Whereas ABR is summarization we do for what? Summarizing what? Inter-area routes. Routes of one area you want to summarize into another area. So it is basically inter-area routes. Internal routes. And I need to go where inside the OSPF process. Routes are OSPF1. And if you are doing summarization on ASBR, the command is very simple, very easy. Summary address straight away. Like on the, if you see in EIGRP it was like IP summary address, then EIGRP. No, here it is simply summary address and that's it. And now you see the problem here. What is the summary? Let's say we calculated the summary is what 200.1.1.1 202.1.192.0 if you remember slash 19. So if you put slash 19 now straight away it's not accepting. So that's the reason you should always also know how to have what dotted form also subnet mask. Sometimes CIDR will work, sometimes CIDR will not be working. So best is what? Get used to both. What should be the subnet mask here? Slash 19 will be what subnet mask? First two octet 255, 255. Third octet will be 3 bit. 3 bit basically means what? 224. Summary address 200.1.192. And once we have done this, let us check on R4. If this summarization, if all this 200 are replaced by single route, if it is visible on R4, that means it will be done everywhere. Because R4 is the last router in that diagram in the end. So last time if you see, you have all the specific routes. Also please listen carefully. The routes we summarize, they are called as what? Specific routes, or more specific routes, detailed routes. So now we are summarizing this. So now repeat the command and let's see what happens. All the 200 routes gone. Yes, all the 200 specific routes are gone, and in their place you have what? Only one summary. See 200.1.192.0/19. Again, the south side of the routing table becomes what? Compact. Okay. Size of the routing table becomes what? Compact. Now let us do ABR. Let me show you ABR summarization also. So for to that, but actually ABR summarization means what? I should have areas. But if you see this diagram, am I showing any areas? No, because for redistribution, for route filtering, I'm not concerned with OSPF areas and all. I just require what? Two protocols. So basically, this is just a logical diagram which is showing that all these routers belong to OSPF. But do they belong? Do they really belong to one single area? No. So now I show you the actual diagram, actual OSPF diagram. Let me show you what is this. So this is exactly what is happening in there inside. If you see R7 is connected to R8, R7 R8 is this side is EIGRP. But if you see from R7 to R4, it's not one single area basically. It is basically so many multiple areas. R4 and R5 they belong to what? Area 45. R5 and R3 they belong to what? Area 35. R1, R2, R3 they are part of area 0, because when you have multi-area, one of the area has to be what? Area 0, backbone area. And then R7, R1, R2 they basically belong to what? Area 10. So this is the real internal of OSPF. So now who are the ABRs in this diagram? If we see the diagram, we have R1 is an ABR, even R3 is an ABR. R3 is actually having two roles. R3 is ABR also, and since it is connecting to other router, no, there is nothing over here which is making any sound. Only thing is that it's basically the aircon maybe. That will be the chat window. What? So identify the ABR. So now let's see in one area what we'll do. In one area, we'll go and advertise the some more loopback. So let me go. Let me get back my loopback file. Let us inject some other routes. We will have overall 200 only. Okay, here I have 172 routes. Let us select this. Okay. Now let me go and inject the routes where on R4. So on R4, I'll go to R4 and inject this new loopbacks on R4. Let us see the loopbacks have been created on R4. What happened? Why loopbacks did not create on R4? So if you see now, all this loopbacks got created on R4, and what we observe, they are basically all subnets of what? Maybe some 172.16 network. So can we summarize them? Yes. Same, like if you see, I copied the same thing 15 and 71 in my 79 in my example. Remember? So same thing I copied basically from there only. So now we know already, we calculated. So what I do now, I have to advertise this into OSPF. So I go into router OSPF, and again same thing. I'll do what? Very quickly I'll say redistribute connected subnet, because it is the OSPF. If you don't do subnet, only major networks will get read. Subnets won't get read. So subnet keyword you should always remember, whether it is some other routing process or whether it is connected. Subnet keyword is important. And now let's see all these routes get advertised. So let me go to R3 now. Do show IP route. Let's see. Do we see 172 routes? Yes, you see the bunch of 172 routes now appearing everywhere. And if they come to everywhere, then R7 also will advertise them to R8. So if I go to even R8 also, do show IP route EIGRP, if I do, we'll see they all getting advertised even to the customers also. So everybody is getting R6, everybody will get. Once you advertise, if you have already redistribution in place, as and when new routes will get added, they will automatically get redistributed. So now everybody's routing table is becoming what? Big and big. So now what to do now? We need to do what? Summarization. So suppose, see this EIGRP domain, okay, or let's say this R6. R6, let's say this R6 is a customer router. It's a small router running RIP. Okay, assume I've written here EIGRP. It could be RIP also. It could be RIP also over here. Let's say RIP EIGRP, because one side I have already EIGRP down, so this side it can be RIP. So R6 is like a lower end router. Now if you see, in some area in OSPF, in some part of in OSPF domain, we are advertising new loopbacks, and what is happening? They get propagated, and they all these loopbacks land where? On R6. This can cause problems to R6. So now R6 admin calls up R3. Hey R3, you guys are sending bunch of routes. Our routers basically their capacity is getting exhausted. They cannot handle so many routes. So can you do something? Either you filter, you don't send only, we don't need this route. The route filtering also can make the routing table small. Or the other way is what? Summarization. What's the difference between, this? See, route filtering also makes the routing table smaller, and summarization also makes the routing table what? Smaller. So what's the major difference? The major difference is what? If you filter the routes, then the routes are gone, and if routes are gone, connectivity is lost. But in summarization, what is the benefit? Even though the routes are not visible in the routing table, but connectivity is still there. Why? Because you have the summary route which is representing that bunch of routes. We have summary routes which is representing. So with summarization, the routing table becomes compact, but at the same time connectivity is not affected. So let's see now. Before I do summarization, let's see, can R6 access this loopbacks on R4? First, see, let us see R6 got all those routes or not. 172. Yes, see, R6 got all those routes. So now, can I do ping? Ping 172.16 dot 172.16 dot, let's say 47.1, source my own IP 60.6.6.6. If you see, reachability is there for 47.1, maybe 79.1. So reachability is there. But the thing is what? Size of the routing table has become big. So R6 admin is calling R3. Can you do this summarization? Can you summarize this route? So R3 admin, let's say, agrees. He says, okay, if you have problem, okay, I'll try to solve the problem. So I go to R3. Is R3, as per the diagram, is R3 first ABR? Yes. So R3 is ABR, right? So can we do summarization on R3? Yes, we can do summarization on R3. I go to, where is R3? Oh, yeah. As I said, command is where inside the process. So router OSPF1 go inside the process, and now if you see the diagram, R4 is in which area? R4 is in area. So these routes are basically coming from which area? Area 45. So is R3 now connected to area 45? Is R3 connected to area 45? No, R3 is not connected to area 45 because R3 belongs to area 0 and R3 belongs to, if you see the diagram, area 35. Area 45 is not directly connected to area 0. So R3 is not the APR of area 45. But what we have here, if if you guys remember in OSPF, if one area is not directly connected to area 0, then how do we connect that area? It won't work. So to make that area work, what I must have configured between R3 and R5, I must have configured what? Virtual link. There must have been what? A virtual link here. That is already there now. Okay, that's the reason R4 is working. Otherwise, if there is no virtual link, then R4 will be isolated then. R4 is advertising everything, R4 is receiving everything, R4 is part of the OSPF domain because of what? Virtual link, because I configured that already. We can see now. If you want to see the configuration of OSPF, do show run 5 section OSPF. This is a virtual link configuration. So R3 and R5 already have virtual link configuration. That's the reason I can even say show IP OSPF neighbor. I will see R3 is OSPF neighbor with R5 twice. Two times R5 is R3's neighbor with OSPF. One time is normal neighbor, physical neighbor via the gigabit link. And you see you have OSPF virtual link neighborship also. Two times one router is showing as neighbor. Why? Because the diagram by default R3 is directly connected to R5. So this is like normal neighborship. And then once I create virtual link, R5 is also neighbor through the virtual link. So now is R3 also part of area 45? Yes. So logically R3 is as good as what? On top of R5. R5 and R3 is basically like one above the other. And if that means this area with once we configure virtual link, that area in between which is called as what? TA. I have written here TA. That means it is transit area. The transit area becomes what? Collapse. There is, it's like as virtually compressed. Area 45 and area 0 is compressing that area 35. So as if like R4, R5 and R3 are like directly connected on top of each other. So now can R3 do the summarization? Yes. Suppose if I had no, there is no virtual link, then R3, even if I do the command, it would not have happened because first of all, R3 does not have any area. If you see, R3 does not have any of its link part of area 45, and the routes which R3 want to summarize, they belong to what? Area 45. Only the ABR of that area can do summarization. Any ABR does not mean that you can go to any ABR and do summarization of any other area. No. The command to do is what? Area. Which area routes you want to summarize? 45. So, and then the command is not summary address. The command is what? Range. Area 45 range. And then the summary, what we calculated, 172.16.0.0 slash 17. If you remember, it was slash 17. So 255 dot over here, no? Over here, if you remember, only one bit we got common, only one bit here, you see. So it was in the third octet, only one bit. So it's 8 plus 8 plus 1, 17. If you remember, I said 17. So 17 basically means what? 128.0. And now let's see on R6. The routes getting summarized. Reachability is still there, yes, but what about the routing table? Did the routing table get compact? No. So if you see, the routing table on R6 did not get compact. Let us see on R1 now. Let us go to R1. Let's see on R1 what happens. If you see on R1, do you see everywhere? Do you see the routes? Still, yes. That means the command I did 172.16.00 summary which I calculated. Yes, summary is calculated correct. See there when if summarization is not happening, there could be what two possibilities. The value which you calculated summary address might be wrong. That itself might be wrong. Second thing is what? The command is wrong. Third could be what? Maybe the command what we are doing is we are doing on a wrong router. So actually the as per this diagram now, which is the best router to do summarization for this route area 45, because I'm telling R4 even though virtual link is there, but there is no area 45 on R3 basically. R3 does not know any area 45. Okay, even though virtual link is there, even though logically R3 is connected to area 45, but from R3 point of view there is no area 45. So I'm telling R3 you summarize your area 45 route. So R3 is checking, does not find any area 45. That's the reason, see the command is not working. So what I do, I just copy paste this command. I go to the correct ABR and copied this. So as I said, no, if you don't do the command on the correct route, the correct router, it won't happen. So now this time I go to where R5. R5 is the ABR for area 45. Show run if you see, is it having any one link part of area 45? Yes, see it has link part of area 45. So can we do summarization here? Yes, router OSPF1, and now I say why I highlighted this, so that thing went off. So area 45 range, I same command on R3 it did not work. So if something does not work, what you should do? Remove it. Why to keep unnecessary commands which are not working? So I always, anytime, you please remember this also. If you trying to do some configuration, you do some command, but it's not working. So remove it, undo. Don't keep unnecessary configuration which is not working. Don't pile up because then it will become difficult for troubleshooting. Done on R5. Let's see on where I can check immediately. We can check on R6 also. Let's see on R6 now. Those routes are gone. Still there. Maybe sometimes you need to do what? It is basically 170 to 16, right? Range is there. Area 45, range 170 to 16. Yes, I will clear it. Just hold on. Let me see. First, 172.16, 55.0, 47.0, 32, 30.0, 79.0. If it happens, it should happen for everybody, right? So it is not happening. One 72.16. Area 45. Okay, see the problem now. Why did not work? Why did not work? If you see on R4, R4 belongs to area 45. So ultimately these routes are coming as what? Area 45 routes to R5, right? But on R4, how I advertise these routes? On R4, how I advertise this route? Did I put the network command and specified that this all these loopbacks belong to area 45? No, if you remember, I advertise all these loopback using what? Redistribute connected. That means basically they got a what? They became what? External routes. So actually they are basically what? External routes. Do show IP route OSP. If I do, R5 is receiving those routes as what? External routes. You can't see OE2, they are E2. You cannot redistribute external. ABR cannot redistribute external route. Who can redistribute external route? Only ASBR can redistribute. R4 itself can summarize them. So what we need to do basically to make this thing work, let us go to R4 and get that command. Remove this, no redistribute connected, and okay, you have all those loopbacks in front. Very quickly, I'll say 172.16.15.1 area 45. Now advertise them as what? Up arrow. Just keep on changing the values. 15, 55, up arrow. This is the third one. 47, fourth, 30. Let me put now straight away 79. No problem. 20 also. We'll put all everything. 79. Done. Yes. So now I advertise all these routes as what? Internal routes. If I go to R5, if I do show IP route again, now all the routes are coming as what? See, intra area routes, O routes. They are all basically routes of which area? Area 45. And that's the reason now R5 redistribute command is already summarization command is already there. Yes, it's there already. I did not remove it. So now let us see. Now I go to R1. R1 also, they were all external routes. And now you see they got summarized. You can do a shortcut to advertise all route by using network 0000, but then you should have all the subnet belonging to some one single network. If they're all belonging to one thing, I can even advertise 172.16.00. I can advertise them like in one single command also. But I just wanted to show you that, assume suppose they are random, then yes. But here I could, instead of doing all this thing like this also, I could have used one, because they are all basically ultimately subnets of 172.16.00. I could have advertised them using 172.16.0.0 and then subnet mask 0.0.255.255 area 45. That way also it can be done. Yes, you can do it through one command also. You can advertise them as like in OSP post route, doesn't matter. So our focus was just to get a bunch of routes somehow in the routing table, and then we try to do what, summarize those routes. And now if you see on R6 also, /17, only one route is visible. But what about the connectivity? Connectivity should not be affected. So if you see, connectivity is still there. External route summarization, who can do? E2 basically means what? E2, E1, ultimately they are ultimately external routes. That's it. So who can redistribute? Who can summarize external routes? Yes, we are. That is where I have written here. Very simple. I'm going to write. If it is ASBR, you are doing summarization ASBR, the command will be what? Summary address. See, in the summary address command, we don't mention any what, area number. But when you are doing summarization on ABR, you are basically, we are trying to summarize what, routes of a particular area ABR, and that's the reason the command is what, area range. So when to, where to put area range and where to put summary address, clear now? Summary address command on ASBR, because it is external route, so there is no question of area. Whereas in multi-area domain, if you want to summarize routes of one particular area, then the area range command. So area range command only on ABR. Summary address command only on ASBR. So summarization. When we'll do BGP, that time I'll explain in advanced BGP, I'll explain the summarization, because in BGP, summarization will not be that easy. Summarization, first of all, summarization in BGP will be called as what? Aggregation. So it is not as simple as IGP summarization. In IGP summarization, what happens? Once you are done summarization, okay, once we have done summarization, will the specific route will be visible after summarization? Do we see any specific routes? No. Once you are done summarization, after summarization, what happens? Only the summary will be forwarded. Specific route will not be forwarded. If you see the diagram now, if you see this diagram, all these specific routes are here. I created all these loopbacks inside area 45. So I will not draw it outside. I will draw here. Let's say all these are in area 45. All these loopbacks. So what is R5 doing? R4 is doing advertising all this route to R4. Within this area, everybody will have those routes. Suppose there is a router 20, there is router 45. They all will have this route. Or everybody will get the route. Now, when I go to R5 and I say area 45 routes, so R5 says, okay, I have two areas, area 45 and area 35. So I say area 45 range. That means I'm telling R5, from your area 45, if you have bunch of routes, you summarize them. So it will summarize them to where? Not within that area. Area 45, when we put that command, we are telling summarize routes of area 45 into other area. That means over here, R5 will send only what? The summary. The summary address will be sent only here. Summary route will be sent only here. R5 will not summarize and send to R20 and R45 in the diagram. Suppose there are like this routers here. R5 is not going to advertise the routes to R20 and R45. First of all, in this scenario, R4 routes basically are what? Internal routes or external routes? They are internal routes. The internal route summarization, again I said, who can do? Only ABRs can do. ASBR cannot do some summarize. If I go to R7 and I put the command summary address, no, it won't happen. Summary address command is for external route, not for internal route. Whether it is 7 or whether it is R3, R3 is having two roles. As an ABR, it can summarize, but internal route, but as an ASBR, it can't summarize. So that is route summarization in IGP. How to do route summarization in EIGRP? RIP, same command, nothing, no difference. Most important is what? First, calculation of the summary. If your calculation itself is wrong, it won't get summarized. Second thing is what? Commands, you need to be careful about the command. Third is what? Location of the command on the correct router, especially with in case of what? OSPF. In EIGRP RIP, no, it's very easy basically. So you see, EIGRP configurations is easy comparatively to OSPF. In OSPF, one has to think which command should I use, which route basically, whether it is ASBR, whether it is ABR, whether it is external route summarization, whether it is internal route summarization, all that consideration needs to be taken into account. Then finally you do the command. And to demonstrate you that I clearly did that, I tried the command on R5, it was not happening. Why? Because even if you do the command, the routes were what? Coming as what? External, because I redistributed them on R4. So external route summarization, area range command won't do. Internal route summarization, summary address command won't do. They are they are the two different commands. Like how we have distribute list cannot be used in place of route map cannot be used in case of distribute list. Same thing, summary address cannot be used in place of area range command, and area range cannot be. Summary address is meant only for summarizing external routes. Area range command is only meant for summarizing OSPF internal routes of some area into another area. Okay, guys. So that is route summarization. In OSPF summarization can be done again one more time. OSPF summarization can be done where? On only two routers, ASBR and ABR. On ABR we do which route summarization? Internal routes of summarization. To do internal route summarization of an area, the command is what? Area range. On ASBR we do summarization of which route? External route, because ASBR is injecting external routes. So that's the reason only ASBR is authorized to do summarization of external routes. So summary address command, even if I do on ASBR, but if I'm trying to summarize internal area routes, it's not going to work. Same way, area range command. If I do this command, area range command, on the ASBR, and I put the summary address for external route, it's not going to work. Cannot interchange two commands, two locations for two different scenarios. So in area range command, ABR can summarize routes of one area into another area. When I say on R5 area 45, that means I'm not telling R5 summarize the routes in area 45. No, I'm saying area 45 routes you summarize. Now if R5 is connected to maybe 10 areas, let's say like this now. So like this. So R5, this router, let's say this router is what, R5. This guy is R4. Maybe this router is R45, suppose. So R4 is sending bunch of routes over here. Maybe this guy is also sending bunch of routes. But now I want to summarize routes of R4. So I go to this R5 and I say area 45 range, and then the summary address what I calculate for R4 bunch of routes. I do that command. What will happen? He's not going to, as I said, he's not going to R5 is not going to advertise the summary to R45 because it is already area 45 routes. Within the area you cannot summarize. So when R5 will advertise over here, everywhere. If it is connected to one area, in that area. If it is connected to 10 areas, all the 10 areas it will advertise what? Summary. Only summary will be sent here. So area of that in the command 45 area, the number which you are specifying, you are telling the router that this area routes you have to summarize in what? Other areas. So as per this diagram over here, when I say on R5 area 45, R5 says yes, I'm connected to area 35. So let me forward this summary to area 35. Okay guys, so we are done with summarization now. Create your topology, start implementing this 8 router topology is very important, not a big challenge, it should not be any big challenge. Okay, we end the session for the day. So as per our agenda, the next topic what we have, I already shown you the agenda for next topic is what? Control plane security. So tomorrow we'll be doing this control plane routing protocol security basically. We want to secure the communication of the routing protocols. Whatever the messages routing protocols they are exchanging between them, this needs to be secure. That is called as what? Control plane security. So we'll do that tomorrow. So see you guys same time. Bye bye. Take care.